Today, we are going to talk about one of the absolute wildest stories in modern manufacturing. Seriously, it's a story about a brilliant vision, a company on the verge of total collapse, and a solution so low-tech, you won't even believe it saved one of the most high-tech companies on the planet.
It's kind of hard to imagine now, but back in 2018, Elon Musk himself admitted that Tesla was bleeding cash so fast it was just single-digit weeks away from going completely bankrupt. The whole dream was turning into an absolute nightmare. So what happened? How did they get there?
Well, it all started with the vision that sounds like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie, the alien dreadnought.
Okay, so the mission here was huge. The Model 3 was supposed to be Tesla's version of the Model T. The car that would finally make electric vehicles affordable for millions of people. This wasn't just about launching a new car, it was about kicking off a full-blown automotive revolution.
And how are they going to pull this off? With a factory of the future that Musk called the alien dreadnought. The idea was a completely automated production line, lights-out manufacturing, where robots would build cars at a speed and precision humans could only dream of. The factory itself was supposed to be the real product, the true innovation.
And they had a number, a very clear, very ambitious goal: produce 5,000 Model 3s every single week by the end of 2017. That number was everything. It was the proof point to the world that mass-market EVs weren't just a fantasy. They were the future.
But that grand, futuristic vision, well, it slammed right into a wall of brutal, messy reality. Tesla was about to enter what they themselves called production hell.
And the gap between that dream and the reality was just massive. By the first quarter of 2018, they were aiming for 5,000 cars a week. But in reality, they were averaging only about 2,000. It wasn't even close. A huge, glaring shortfall.
And look, this wasn't just a one-time miss. The goalposts just kept on moving. That 5,000 car a week target got pushed from late 2017, then to early 2018, and then pushed again to the middle of 2018. This wasn't a speed bump, it was a sustained period of just failure.
And you can bet Wall Street noticed. While Tesla was, in Musk's words, bleeding money like crazy, the stock just tanked. It plunged 17% in a single week in April 2018. The dream was turning into a cash-burning machine, and investors were, to put it mildly, freaking out.
And the problems weren't just about how many cars they were making. The quality of the cars they did make was in crisis. By June of 2018, a staggering 85% of Model 3s needed to be reworked before they could be delivered. Think about that. Their first-pass yield, which is just a fancy way of saying cars made right the first time, was a disastrous 14%.
So what on earth went so wrong? Well, it was kind of a perfect storm. First, that alien dreadnought idea was too rigid. If a single robot made a mistake, the entire line could grind to a halt. Second, a critical piece of equipment for the battery modules from a supplier just failed, forcing them to build parts by hand. And third, the car itself was just too complex, over-engineered for an automated assembly line that couldn't handle it.
Okay, so with the company literally on the brink of collapse, something had to change, and fast. Tesla's survival, it turned out, wasn't going to depend on more technology, but on a series of desperate, radical, and pretty brilliantly unconventional solutions.
And this right here, this quote, marks the turning point. Musk, the guy who championed the robot revolution, had to come out and admit the whole strategy was a mistake. He realized that in the chaos of a new production line, the alien dreadnought desperately needed a human touch.
And the core problem was actually pretty simple. Robots are rigid. They're amazing at doing the exact same perfect thing a million times. But throw them a curveball, an unexpected glitch, the whole system freezes. Humans, on the other hand, brought flexibility. We can troubleshoot, we can improvise, and we can figure out a way to keep the line moving no matter what.
And Tesla put its money where its mouth was. In just 1 year, right in the middle of production hell, the company hired over 11,000 new people. They weren't just talking about putting humans back in the loop, they were doing it, and they were doing it fast.
But the most legendary part of this whole turnaround, the part everyone talks about, is the tent. To get more space, Tesla did something that no major car company had ever dreamed of doing. They built a brand new assembly line called GA4 in a giant tent in the factory parking lot. And get this, they did it in just a few weeks.
The critics, of course, just mocked it. A high-tech car company building cars in a tent, it looked ridiculous. But this scrappy, manual labor-heavy, semi-outdoor line was the secret weapon. It boosted their production capacity by about 50% and gave Tesla the final push it needed to finally, desperately, hit that 5,000 cars per week goal.
So what can we all learn from this incredible story of near failure and scrappy last-minute recovery? Well, it offers some really powerful lessons for anyone out there trying to build something new.
First, balance automation with human adaptability. Robots are for when you've got it all figured out, but humans are absolutely essential for the figuring it out part. Second, focus on getting a stable flow before you worry about perfection. It's way better to have a line that's moving consistently than a perfect line that's always stopped. And finally, scale smart, not just fast. You need backups, and you need to test big ideas before you bet the whole company on them.
At the end of the day, this isn't just a story about manufacturing. It's a story about leadership. It's about Musk sleeping on the factory floor, personally getting his hands dirty, redesigning things, and making the incredibly tough call to abandon a failing strategy. Even a strategy he created. That willingness to do something that looked crazy, like building a factory in a tent, showed a radical flexibility that literally saved the company.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. When you're under extreme pressure, when your back is completely against the wall, at what point does the unconventional, the crazy idea, actually become the most rational, logical, and necessary path forward?